Hello and welcome back to another episode of Clark and Addison Born into the Ivy. I'm your host David, and with me today is my brother, who is special guest. He is filling in for his son Eli. My brother and I grew up Cub fans. He is a diehard Cub fan as well. Um, so it'll be cool. I'm excited to do this with him. I've been trying to get him to do this and get on here with me for a little bit. So this is awesome. Tonight starts the World Baseball Classic for Team USA. It started Wednesday night, late Wednesday night. But very exciting. Are you excited? Are you going to watch that tonight, Matt?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
100%. All the way through.
Cubs
as many
training
games as I can.
Fair enough. With the
through
WBC?
The World Baseball. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm totally stoked for the tournament.
Right. Yeah, you have a couple teams that are favorites, right? You're looking at Japan, you're looking at the U.S. I don't think you can ever really count out Puerto Rico with the talent that they have overall.
Puerto Rico doesn't have a whole lot of players playing this year because of whatever, like insurance stuff.
MLB players.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that. I was watching the Mexico and Great Britain game earlier at Whiskey Bob's, and no one expects Great Britain to be very good.
Right.
Mexico really didn't look bad though. I don't know if it was because of the lack of talent with Great Britain, which is obviously a possibility.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. I don't think you can ever throw shade to Mexico though either. With talent,
I wouldn't call them a favorite. I think the four favorites are Japan, USA, Venezuela, and Dominican.
Yeah.
Venezuela, they have a stacked lineup, but I don't think their pitching matches up with the other three.
Sure.
Team Japan's got Yamamoto.
Well, you know what they say anyway. Time tells all.
Absolutely.
So, we're going to see what the hell happens. But I think the U.S. is going to be hard to beat.
Agreed. I don't disagree with that at all. I hate that Skubal is only playing the one game. I get it. But it takes away from the dominant pitching. But Paul Skeens, right. That dude's the man. And you got to believe that Clayton Kershaw will be out to put a stamp on his last competitive baseball.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, and even in crunch time especially, right? We've seen Clayton Kershaw unfortunately have bad luck or bad games and critical games throughout his career.
Yeah.
Now he's had great games at times.
A few of those have been against the Cubs.
Right. But he's also had like some big old nasty games where he just gets shelled.
Yep. Absolutely.
And you could you look at there's pitchers. Even Bumgarner to a point has had those issues.
Not necessarily in high crunch time though.
Not to the extreme that Kershaw has.
The latter half of that last year or two, he did.
Right.
But like prime Bumgarner, he did not in high crunch time.
He was lights out.
Yeah.
Where Kershaw's had that issue pretty much throughout his career.
In crunch time.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. That was a whole lot more talk about the WBC than I expected, but that was awesome. I'm totally stoked for this.
The WBC is cool. And honestly, if you're not a baseball fan, when I was younger, I didn't give a crap about the WBC.
I did.
I didn't even care. And for many years, the U.S. didn't put their best foot forward with it either.
I don't disagree with that, especially on the pitching side.
Right, but we saw that with basketball for a little bit, right? With the U.S. as well.
Yep.
And it seems like we've kind of come back around to putting our best talent out there that we can get. And a lot, it all comes down to the manager, them picking their team, which is a good thing. Um,
DeRosa is a good manager too, I think.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, and honestly, I can't believe DeRosa isn't
A major league one.
absolutely
I think
hundred
that's his
percent.
choice.
He just got to find the right. Well, and this could help him
He's interviewed.
tenfold.
I just think that he likes what he does on a regular basis.
Sure, sure, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely not.
But even going back to his later playing days, though, like he was, you knew he was the captain
For
of the
sure.
Cubs, right? He was the leader in the locker room.
It's kind of like the heart and soul of him, like Rizzo
Right.
was as well.
Right, but that was when Rizzo was a lot younger. And I think Rizzo probably learned a lot from DeRosa.
If they crossed, they didn't cross much.
Right. No, I'm talking like a year or two, probably, right? 1 to 3 max.
I'm not sure that they did cross.
Okay.
I'd have to go back and double check that.
But they have the same type of mentality.
Absolutely.
Of ball.
Absolutely. Moises Ballesteros. So we got 6 guys that we're going to break down and share our expectations for today for the upcoming season. Moises Ballesteros, I think, is going to have one heck of a transition. That doesn't mean he's not going to have some there's ebb and flow for every major league player, even Shohei, Aaron Judge, those kind of guys. He's going to have those because he's a rookie, man. But right. I think he's going to contend for Rookie of the Year. I actually will predict that'll be one of my bold predictions. Spoiler alert.
Based off of offensive numbers.
Correct. He's going to be strictly a DH for the most part. I mean,
which is fine.
He's not expected to catch more than 10 games
right.
at all this year.
And really, I was going to say the Cubs don't need him to.
Barring an injury.
Right.
There's absolutely no reason for him to, yes. So, what do you think is going to happen? What do you expect with Moises?
I mean, obviously, I hope you're right. Early on in spring training, he looks good.
Yeah, he does.
Right? We don't know how that's going to translate when you get to the grind of a regular season, when you're playing 5 games a week. The breakdown of players, what happens. Hopefully he stays healthy. Being outside from behind the plate is obviously going to help him. His biggest things is going to be like hamstrings, things like that, if he's going to be a DH. But outside of that, being behind the plate, you have a lot more other injury possibilities that can come to light when you're doing that. So
absolutely.
Now, I'd like to see that game, him, the catchers that we have, none of them are going to be long-term guys.
I disagree.
Who do you disagree with?
Amaya.
Yeah, but how old is Amaya?
He's not very old.
Because I don't know that.
He's like 25 or 26.
Okay. So, yeah, but even with Amaya, when I say long-term, you could expect Amaya to have 3 or 4, right? Solid years behind the plate.
More than that.
Huh?
If he can stay healthy, more than that.
If. How old was Contreras before they started moving him to first base some?
Wilson had a monster arm, but Wilson he didn't play a ton of first base for the Cubs. He started doing that after the first year in St. Louis. And they didn't like the way he called and received games because they were used to yachty. And that was a huge motivator to get him from out behind the plate. I never liked the way he called and received games either. Yeah. On a consistent basis. That's a whole other thing. Wilson Contreras, I think Miguel Amaya has proven that he can do that. He's the defensive side. He's pretty solid with it.
Sure. he's just Amaya's only thing is where he'll get streaky on the offensive side. Like the dude will mash for a while, then he gets a little cold.
He's young.
Right. Um, and it's not like he's the first player that's ever done that.
I mean,
hell,
Ian Happ does that, and he's been in the league for 10 years. This is his 11th year.
absolutely.
Ian Happ
Well,
is way worse about that.
Sure. You know who I was going to compare him to was Javi.
No.
No, but Javi was an extreme hot and cold.
I would say Ian Happ is a better comparison for that.
Sure. And I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying the first player that popped in my mind was Javi in that comparison.
I don't think it's that extreme.
I'm not saying it's that extreme
And
either.
He doesn't have the explosiveness the Javi did either.
No, but that's hard to match anyway.
Agreed. So I think,
because when Javi's good,
but he hasn't been that guy for a long time.
Right. But I'm saying when he was that good in that time period, like it was an MVP type of.
He did that
when he was that good.
He was only that 1 year.
Well, 16.
17. 16, he was not that guy.
Well, in the playoffs, he was.
Okay, but for the year,
but it was the hot and cold again, right?
That was his rookie year.
His first full-time year.
Yes, in 16.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he was up partially in 14 and 15 as well.
Yes. Yes.
And I think, was it 14 that he broke his finger?
I think so.
So anyway, I think the kid has a lot of good things about him.
Which kid are you talking about now? Ballesteros or Amaya?
Yes.
But okay. So Ballesteros, I love if he transitions well because he profiles the same way Nico does. He makes great contact. He doesn't strike out a ton. Yeah. With a little more pop than what Nico has.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
And
yeah. The lineup needs that in a bad way.
Right.
If he can transition, and I think he will, I think that it's going to be absolutely huge, and it elongates the lineup.
Yeah.
It makes it that much deeper. I love Nico.
Completely off subject. I love Nico.
Yes, same.
His whole game. Like every bit of it.
So, you haven't been on here for Bregman. Oh, wait. I had one more note that I wanted to touch on with Ballesteros. So, we were talking about if he can progress defensively. He caught Edward Cabrera on Wednesday. Wednesday. And there was 4 times that he challenged that with the ABS system, the call from the umpire, and he was correct 3 of those 4. I thought that was really awesome. It shows that he has a damn good command of the strike zone.
Sure.
An understanding of it.
Well, which translates to his framework, right?
Agreed.
Potentially as a catcher.
Which is that going to be as important? I'm not sure. With the ABS system?
Right.
But it's still important, like, because you only get so many challenges and to be wrong with. So it can still be important.
Well, yeah, because we both know how quick those gloves move.
Absolutely.
As they catch that ball.
Absolutely.
So that quick glimpse of that glove moving can obviously have a impact on what the manager decides to do on the opposite side.
Yep.
And I think that's something that we will see with that progress with catchers. You're going to see catchers learning that part of it.
For sure.
When to snap, when not to snap. When to pull, when to push, things like that.
Yep. I think he'll progress. I don't know that he's ever going to be more than an average defender, but if he can get to average defender and hit the way I think he's going to, that's all you need.
Above average? Sure, right. Well above average, potentially, right? Batting.
I think, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well above.
Right.
I think he could potentially be an all-star. offensively.
Yeah. Hey, hold on real quick. Quick TV timeout.
Okay.
Hey, you sound that defense.
So we're also going to be talking about Alex Bregman. My expectations for Bregman are that he will also hit
I'm
with good
nervous.
contact. Talking about Bregman now.
No, I said I'm nervous.
Oh, that's okay.
About
You're
Bregman.
doing. Oh, you're nervous about Bregman.
Yeah.
All right. Why? Were you not excited when they signed him?
Ish.
Okay. So the more I've heard about the guy, the more excited I get.
I love the guy.
But you mean
Right?
like what you expect from him?
Productivity.
Yeah. All right. What is it about
I love
that
the
you're
guy.
nervous?
Yeah. I mean, Bregman came up, 5 years ago?
No. He was up in 16 or 17, I believe.
So
Maybe
longer.
15 or 16. 17
Right.
is when
So
they won the
longer.
World Series, yes.
So close to 10.
Yeah.
Obviously, I had a very high ceiling.
I don't think he has a high ceiling anymore, though. But I do think he has a high floor.
What's his contract?
It was 5
'Cause I
years,
don't remember.
175 million. 35 million a year, basically. Some of that's deferred. I think it comes out to like 32 and a half or something.
A year.
Yes. I'm not talking about contract. I'm just talking about what your expectations are for him this season.
Well, we know he's going to play a solid third base, right?
Correct. Like Gold Glove type defense.
Right. Which is obviously a plus.
And a huge hallmark for the team.
Sure. But I don't think necessarily Matt Shaw was a slouch playing
Matt Shaw
defensively.
played Gold Glove level defense as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But I think can get to that point in right field as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but then you have a whole nother issue. And to me, I'm gonna evolve on this a little bit, right? You move Shaw to right. If it were me, personally, I'd move Shaw to left.
I get what you're saying. I don't disagree, but the Cubs are not going to do that unless Ian Happ absolutely sucks.
Well, and that's my point. Like, I would take Happ out. Obviously, you have a Gold Glover in Happ, right? Again, the offense is streaky. I'd rather have Suzuki, sorry, in right field.
He doesn't play as good a defense.
Correct. But he's far more consistent offensively.
No, he's not.
You don't think so?
Absolutely not. Well, he is more consistent than Ian Happ. I think
that's my point.
I think he has the second biggest ebbs and flows, though, of everybody else on the team. When Seiya is bad, he's bad for a while, man. Like a month and a half. When he's good, he is as good as anybody.
I also feel like defense
is an Achilles heel for him at times.
Right, but it's easier to correct than offense.
Then why hasn't he done it in the 4+ years that he's been in Chicago now?
That I can't answer. I don't know.
So I don't buy that then. If it was easier to correct, he would have done it by now. I will say I think he's better defensively than he was his first 2 years. He's still not Gold Glove or even somewhat close to Gold Glove the way the rest of them all are. I think he DHs against lefties. Ballesteros is not going to play much against lefties unless there's some kind of necessity for it. You know what I mean? They're just not going to let him do it, just like they didn't let Bush the last couple of years. And so I think Shaw plays in right field then, and Suzuki's DHs.
Part of the time.
I think at times you could see Shaw in center as well. And then like some guy, it's still up to be. Nobody knows who's going to be playing like in the fourth outfielder spot. But I think Dylan Carlson is making a very strong case to make the team. And I would love to see him in right field at that point with Shaw in center.
Right.
And when I say that,
but
I mean against like really tough lefties because Pete struggled minorly against really tough lefties.
okay.
But you don't want him out for very long.
Yeah, but I was
'cause of
going to
the
say,
way-
do you want to stunt his growth though too?
He doesn't just play. No. And that's why I said just like really tough lefties, like a Tarek School type guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Or Andrew Abbott, who absolutely dominates left-handers from the Reds. Like that dude dominates lefties. I think it makes sense because you also want to give him confidence, so you want to pick and choose some of the lefties because he struggled big time against lefties, especially in the second half of the year last year.
You think Shaw's quick enough to play center?
I do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's not going to give you the same defense and all that as Pete. Pete doesn't just play gold glove defense.
Yeah, but that's special.
Exactly.
Right, you can expect that.
He plays elite level defense.
Right.
Possibly the best. He could end up being the best center fielder ever defensively. I'm not saying he's going to be, but he could be.
But that's saying something, when you're considering people like Trout.
Mike Trout, Andrew Jones.
Right.
I mean, that's just two.
Well,
Kevin Kiermaier was amazing defensively in center.
Sure. Well, you look at a lot of outfielders that were amazing defensively.
Absolutely.
You got Kevin Pillar. Offense wasn't there, but Kevin Pillar was a great defensive outfielder.
Yes.
So,
absolutely.
I mean, which a lot of people would never even know who the hell Kevin Pillar was.
So let's get back to Bregman.
Yeah, we're getting off subject.
Yes. Alex Bregman, you think could struggle. I don't necessarily disagree with that.
I mean, I hope not anyway, right? I hope I'm wrong about it. I hope he comes out kicking ass.
My biggest concern about him is health-wise.
Yeah.
And that's why I was so adamant. I did not like, because there was a lot of talk about possibly trading Shaw. I didn't like that idea at all.
I hate that idea.
They're not doing it, at least at this point.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But
yeah,
I like him for the depth. But I think he's, even if nobody gets hurt, I think you can find where he can get 400 at-bats. He can spell Nico. He can spell Dansby by way of playing second base and Nico playing short.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
he's got some Zobrist in him.
100%. Like,
yeah,
this is this year's version of Ben Zobrist / Javi Baez,
right?
From the 16 team.
Sure.
And that doesn't mean he won't eventually find a position. He's going to. Matt Shaw, I think, is really going to be good offensively this year. And he's had a good spring so far.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. What Bregman brings is more than just what he's going to add offensively, in my opinion. And whatever he adds offensively will be all more gravy.
A bonus. Right.
And he'll be a little more pop than Nico and Ballesteros even, but he'll be the same kind of hitter too, those guys. So now we got three guys like that, and that makes a gigantic difference. And we're not even going to talk about this guy, but I'll touch on him real quick. Michael Busch, I think, is going to have an absolutely tremendous season. Do you know no Cub hitter, left-handed hitter, has hit 40 home runs since 1970?
I did not.
The last time that happened. I think Busch breaks that this year.
Yeah.
Ends that drought.
I can see that.
Billy Williams was the last one who did it.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that for sure.
I'm excited about Michael Busch and the season that I think he's going to put up.
Well, yeah, I mean, just look at last year.
Yeah, yeah, he was
You
amazing.
know what he
He
did.
he
Sure.
grew a ton last year from the
Yeah.
previous year, and his
Yep.
rookie year was solid.
Right. Yeah, but
Michael
if he
Bush,
takes a couple solid steps this year, I mean, I don't think you're um he definitely wouldn't be overachieving by doing that.
I think he will end up. I could see him contending for an MVP votes. Not necessarily the role, but MVP votes because you'd vote for top 10.
Right.
I could see him getting
Sure.
votes for that
Yeah.
for sure. Um, the MLB announced there's a spring breakout game. I don't know if you know this. Every year in spring training, the last few years, where only minor league guys who aren't on the 40-man roster play. That game this year is on the 21st against the Padres. But today or yesterday, I'm not sure. I think it was yesterday actually. They announced that they're going to do a change of that. In 27 and 28, they're going to change it to two different tournaments, one in the Cactus League and one in the Grapefruit League, and it will spotlight players who are only not on the 40-man roster for the
Okay.
tournament. I think that's really exciting. I'm excited about that
Sure.
possibility. The MLB Pipeline announced their top 30 prospects
Yeah.
yesterday. No, Wednesday. I'm sorry. Number one for the Cubs was Moises Ballesteros. He will graduate soon, obviously. Number
Right.
two is Jackson Wiggins. Number three was first round pick Ethan Conrad, who still has not been able to play yet because he was drafted with an injury. I'm really excited about this kid. Kevin Alcantara was number four. I don't like that. I think Jefferson Rojas should be actually three. But Jefferson is five. The dude is having a great spring, showing why he should be considered to be one of the top three. But I don't necessarily have a problem with him being over Conrad or under Conrad. I absolutely have a problem with it under Alcantara. Other notables: number 7 was Jonathan Long, number 9 Pedro Ramirez, 12 Juan Canada, and then number 18 on January 31st, I did a podcast talking about where the initial rankings were for the Cubs. They weren't favorable for the prospects.
Yep.
Justin Florentino was number 24 at the end of 2025 on the top 30. He has
Yep.
now moved up to number 18, and I think that this guy has a huge season. I wouldn't be shocked if he stays healthy, if he is the pitcher of the year for the minor leagues in the Cubs.
Okay.
This kid is filthy.
Yeah.
2025 draft picks, there's 4 of them that I want to talk about. Kane Kepley was number 6. He is going to be really good, I think. He's playing below his means right now. He played in low A last year. He's going to start out high A. He needs to be at least in double A. He's not being challenged at all. He is hitting the cover off the ball this spring. Number 8 is Josiah Hartshorn. He was an outfielder that was drafted out of high school. It's going to take time for this kid, but he's got really good tools. Number 13, Caleb Wing, I think will be probably transition into a really good reliever. And it's also number 16, Dominic Reed, same thing. Reed has not played yet. He was hurt as well last year when he was drafted.
Okay.
Just a quick note about David Ross. He is back with ESPN. He signed a 2-year deal to be a broadcaster with them. I'm excited for that for him, or some kind of analyst with ESPN. So, Hoby Milner, he is a guy that the Cubs brought in for the bullpen. Do you know much about Hoby, Matt?
No.
He has a very funky delivery. He's a sidearm guy. I don't
It's not always
expect.
bad.
No, it's not always good either, but it's not
Right.
bad. His fastball velocity is not amazing, but he has a lot of movement on his pitches. He doesn't generate a whole lot of hard hit percentage. He was 79th in that, and on ground ball, this is where he was 91st percentile on that, and that will be huge for the Cubs. He'll
I was
be a
gonna say
great
I'll
guy
take
to
that all
bring
day
in.
long.
when there's a lot of traffic on the bases to help get out of a
Sure.
jam and get a double play.
Yep.
You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
I don't think that he could pitch in some high leverage spots, but I think he pitches more in like those middle inning type thing, from
Yeah.
like the 5th
Like
through the
5 to
7th,
7.
or maybe
Yep.
even the 8th if a guy gets in trouble and he needs to come in and help clean up a little bit.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I think he'll be a really good addition to the bullpen. I'm
Yeah.
excited about it. I'm not saying he's going to have a sub-3 ERA. Hopefully he does. Last year it was actually 3.84. That was a little high, but where he excels is generating those ground balls. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and honestly, I think that's a good thing to have a guy like that on your team,
Especially when you
right?
have a
I mean,
defense like the Cubs have.
right. Absolutely.
Yep,
It's not a bad thing to put the ball in play.
for sure. 100%. I know we're having a hard time seeing Matt. I'm sorry. It's obviously gotten dark where he's at. So it's dark here too. But we live in the same area. But Jack Neely is a prospect, a relief pitching prospect. I think will be a guy like Ethan Roberts, you know who that is, Matt?
Yeah.
Gavin Hollowell, Luke Little. Those guys are guys that come up and down. I think Neely starts to fill some of that this year, where he's coming up and down quite a bit, and I think could pitch effectively. He's got a lot of nasty movement on his fastball, and some good off speed movement as well. I don't know how much you know about Jack.
No, I'm not a ton, but I was just going to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to have those types of guys that maybe aren't necessarily ready to come up into the big league, but on a full-time basis, right? But can fill that gap. It's no different than football when you have a practice squad.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
it gives him experience in the big leagues. It gives the organization an opportunity to see him on the big stage. So there's a lot of good in it on both sides.
100%. 100%. About a month and a half ago, MLB Network came out with their top 100 list, and Seiya Suzuki was number 77 on that list. Michael Busch was 67. P. Crow Armstrong was 40, and Alex Bregman was 35. No Nico Horner, which was absolutely
Asinine.
ridiculous.
Yep.
And inexcusable for MLB to mess that up like that. ESPN came out with their top 100, and that was announced yesterday. 6 Cubs were on this list. Right fielder DH Seiya Suzuki was number 92. I don't necessarily disagree with that. I don't disagree with 77 either, but
Right.
I think Seiya's pretty polarizing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because of his ups and downs.
Right.
Michael Busch.
Yeah, look at his first half of last year.
100%. Michael Busch was number 86 on the ESPN list, a little lower, about 20 spots lower than the MLB list. I don't necessarily disagree with that either. But I think he takes a leap this year again.
Sure.
Dansby Swanson was number 82 on the list, and I was impressed that they put him that high. I'm not sure I would put him quite that high, but his defense makes up for a ton.
Absolutely.
And I think is underrated by a lot of players.
Sure.
A lot of people. Alex Bregman was number 61. I think that's a better spot for him than what MLB had at 35.
I agree.
Nico Horner was number 55. I would argue that that's a little low, but I don't have a problem with it.
So he wasn't on ESPN's.
He wasn't
MLB's.
Yeah.
MLB's.
They just completely overlooked him.
Right. And then ESPN put him at 55.
Yep. 55th best player in the major leagues, according to ESPN. And I think it's a solid spot for him.
No, I agree, 100%. My thing right now is that MLB just was like
they shit the bed on that.
Like, oh, you might be all right.
They completely
Right?
shit the bed on that.
Yeah. Yep.
And it was absolutely inexcusable. P. Crow Armstrong was number 40 for MLB for ESPN number 22.
But I don't think they're off.
I think it's a bit high because of the second half swoon.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
I want it to be up there or even higher, and I think he can
Right.
get there.
Sure.
I think it's a bit high because of that second half swoon. Do I
Yeah.
think that he's a top 20 player? I think he very much can be. Absolutely. I'm just not sure he's quite there yet, based on last year's results.
Second half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But he was a 30-30 player. But a lot of people, I think, myself included, expected him to be a 40-40 player after the first half he had.
Yeah.
So, I love Pete. Pete is my favorite guy on the team right now.
Sure.
Followed very, very closely by Nico Horner. And Cade Horton could end up getting up in there too.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I love it. But you know who else I really like is Matthew Boyd.
Yeah.
I love watching him pitch. I think he is incredibly underrated. I thought it was a great signing last year, and I didn't necessarily expect how amazing he was, but I expected it close to what he ended up doing, and he did.
Yeah,
it.
dude made the most of his opportunity.
Absolutely, absolutely, and he's just very professional, very appreciative, like just a good dude. And how can you not root for a guy like that?
Right. Well, and, it kind of falls in line with, and I'm going to touch on this just real quick. That's the type of dude Nico is.
100%.
Like,
which is why
Nico,
he's one of my favorites.
And Pete, I love Pete. Like you said, he's the polarizing guy.
Yeah.
Not that he's not appreciative. Not that he's not.
He is very appreciative, but I don't like watching him throw his helmet all the time and that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
it's his age. I think that's part of it.
I think there's a reason him and Caleb hang out. Williams.
100%. And did you see that Connor Bedard, the star young player for the Blackhawks, is they're all three now hanging out a lot together.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
They need to add Josh Giddey from the Bulls and make it all four of them.
Right.
Screw the White Sox.
But there's a part. Absolutely, every day, all day. But there's a part of that you need that for a team too. I guess is my point, right?
Yeah.
You need that polarizing guy that people are drawn to. That's likable, not an ass.
100%.
But it's still polarizing.
Pete is that guy. Pete oozes superstardom.
Yep.
He just oozes it, man. Javier Assad. We got two more guys we're going to talk about. Javier Assad and then Edward Cabrera is what we're going to close it out with. What do you expect from Javier Assad this season? Or would you like me to touch on that first and then you chime in?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I think Javi is going to be exactly what he generally is, except he's probably just not going to pitch in the majors as much. I think he could be a bullpen guy, but I think that they're going to probably want him to stay stretched out, at least early on in the season. And so I expect that he'll probably start in AAA. Is that a bit unfair to him? 100%. It is. You know what I mean? But they have so much depth at starter and he's not in the top 5. He's not in the top 6 if you include Justin Steele. I would start to lean towards maybe he's not in the top 7, that maybe Ben Brown is starting to jump him. We got to see more of it this spring and see if he can stay consistent. But Ben Brown's stuff is far better than Javier Assad's. And so I think Javi will get probably somewhere between 5 and 15 starts at the major league level and will provide really good pitching depth. And it's really not fair for him to be the 7th or 8th option on a major league team when you know that he's better than a bunch of guys that are out there
Sure.
that are going to be starting in a top 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Javi is much better than that. But it is absolutely amazing that we have that much depth in the starting rotation, and it will be needed, I believe. And I
Well, yeah.
think that he always pitches into some trouble, but he always figures out a way to get out of it. It is nerve-wracking to watch a Javier Assad start sometimes, but he's impressive, and you got to respect the way he consistently gets out of any jams he gets in.
Right.
Does that mean he won't mess up? Absolutely, he's going to mess up. Like that's part of the game. But
Sure.
Javier Assad just he has a way. He kind of reminds me of Kyle Hendricks a little bit. Not as good, but I see some semblance there with the way he pitches and understands how to pitch and use the best of his abilities that he can.
Yeah. For me, obviously, like he could be a spot starter, right?
100%.
Um, long term though, to me, I almost can see him on the back end of the bullpen.
He doesn't have enough speed,
You don't have to have a
enough
lot of speed though.
velocity. I'm not sure that I like that. I
See,
trust him. I mean,
I like the idea of him being a setup man.
I like him more as a like 6th, 7th inning guy than a 8th, 9th inning guy. Bullpen wise.
Right.
But honestly, where I think Javier Assad's true long-term value for the Cubs is in a trade.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. I mean, it makes complete sense,
I
actually.
don't mean this year, but I mean like in the
Right.
future.
Sure.
I think that's where he could have a more long-term value for the Cubs.
Well, and unfortunately, there's probably, I mean, like you said, there's just not a lot of room for him in the organization.
Not to consistently start at the major league level, at
Right.
least. Yeah.
Right.
And I think
Yep.
that's what he wants to do, and he deserves
Sure.
to do. It's
Right.
just not going to happen in Chicago right now.
Yep.
But I really like Javi. I respect him a lot because he just grinds, man. He just grinds. He's a grinder, and he's the kind of guy that you got to enjoy having on your team because of that.
Sure.
Have you been able to watch Edward Cabrera pitch at all yet this spring?
Have not.
Have you paid attention much to his spring starts?
I haven't had time. I
Fair,
haven't even had
that's cool.
time to look through my actual baseball team that I'm going to be coaching.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, Edward Cabrera, man, this dude's got some filthy stuff, Matt. I mean, it's absolutely filthy. So I think Ben Brown has some filthy stuff, and Cade Horton has some filthy stuff. Cabrera's is probably the best of all three of those guys.
Okay.
I mean, it is just nasty. This guy's changeup is 94 miles an hour, man.
And that's sick.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where Edward Cabrera has struggled is his exit velo is high. It's 22nd percentile, and his hard hit percentage is 8th, and his barrel rate is 45th percent. He also gets a little wild at times, but his fastball gets a little too straight at times and a little too predictable. I think this is where the Cubs have really started to build a really nice infrastructure with their pitching. Tommy Hoby, I think, is an incredibly underrated pitching coach.
I agree.
And Tyler Zombro has added something to this organization with the pitching lab that has started to take it to another level where pitchers are wanting to come to the organization and sign with them as a free agent because of the reputation that they're starting to get with all that.
Yeah.
And I think that they will make that adjustment for Cabrera. If this man can stay healthy, I think he will contend for a Cy Young. Now, I've already said who I think my prediction for the Cy Young Award is, and I think that's going to be Sandy Alcantara. And that's who I really wanted the Cubs to get. But I have zero problem with having Edward Cabrera on this team because I think he's still got a lot of club control. And I think that he is going to be an absolute force if he can stay healthy. I'm excited
Well,
about it.
sure. Yeah. I mean, that's always the $1,000,000 question anyway. You know,
100%.
guys
He
guys
just
staying
he
healthy.
has a history of not being healthy
Right.
consistently. So
Yeah. And
that's
when
the bugaboo for him.
yep. Yeah, when you're that young and if you already have that history, you don't know where that coin's going to flip.
Last year was by far his best season. He had 137 and 2/3 innings. He had 40 more innings than he had his previous high, almost 40. And he had 26 starts, another career high, and his ERA was 3.53. If he can even just pitch a nap with the way this team is going to be, I think that'll be
Right.
really good. But I think that
Sure.
he's going to be around 3 in the ERA category. That's what
Yeah.
I'm hoping for and expecting from him. If he does that, and Cade, and even if Cade has a bit of like an up and down, and Justice
What you
Field
have to
comes
expect.
back ready to like in June, and he
Yeah.
starts getting going, and in the second half really takes off, that's a
Right.
hell of a threesome. And then you still got Shota and Matt Boyd, and we
Sure.
haven't even talked about Jameson Tyone, who I get is
Right.
struggling in the spring, but it's still spring, man. Like I'm
Right.
a little concerned about it. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but
Well,
Jameson
because we've seen
Tyone
that
as your
we've
six,
seen that in his history though too, right?
100%, 100%.
Doesn't mean he doesn't, figure it out and rectify it, and I
Yeah,
mean, if he has a bad stint in the year, hopefully he figures it out in spring training, and if he does have that, hopefully it's in the second half.
exactly.
Because right now we need him in the first half
Yep,
for sure.
absolutely. I'm excited about this season. Thank you very much for being on here, Matt. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you can do this again with us. I would love that.
Yeah.
Uh, don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you leave some comments. Subscribe on any format, whether it's YouTube on or listen on audio. However, please subscribe to us. Leave some comments, like it, leave some 5-star reviews, and everybody have a great day. Let's go Cubbies.